I've been watching quite a lot of you share your hemiplegic migraine stories, and I think it's really good what you guys are doing. And I wanted to just throw one of mine out there as well. And I think that my videos come with a unique angle because I'm the only person that I've found thus far that's making videos about this topic that's on the other side of it. In fact, next Wednesday will mark an entire year since I've had a hemiplegic migraine, which is way longer than I've ever been before since these started. 2023, I was getting hemiplegic migraine every 2 weeks. Some weeks it was more frequent, but on average it was about every 2 weeks. I haven't had one for almost a year, and I'll give you the short version in case you've not seen my other videos. The lion diet worked for me. Stop the hemiplegic migraines. It was diet. It wasn't physio. It wasn't stress. It wasn't anything else that these people tell you it is. For me, anyway. So I'm hoping that's what it is for you, so give that a go. This is water, by the way. I'm still mostly on the lion diet now. I'm carnivore more, but I don't do eggs or dairy, obviously, because people with allergies often don't go well with it. Anyway, so hemiplegic migraine story. This is when I was very young and I just started subcontracting for a company. This was me when we didn't have much money at all, and I was just trying to get something in so that it would take the pressure off a bit. And I was very young, living with my parents. I reckon I was about 21, 22, 23, somewhere around there. I taught myself web design. I'll keep those details short because it's not really important for the story, but I'll just give you this little bit of backstory. I really didn't want to make a bad impression with these people because I had just started to make money and I tried so hard for so long to make money and constantly failed and just felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And now this company was letting me subcontract and they were paying me what was a decent amount of money for me at the time. So anyway, I was sitting there. I hadn't been there long. I'm going to make this up. It was 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It wasn't a long time, somewhere like that. But what happened was I was trying to read the code, and it was really simple code that I'd used for quite a long time before that. It's not difficult. It's a CSS framework called Bootstrap, which really ain't hard to learn. And I just couldn't understand it for some reason. And I was looking and I was really struggling just to focus on it. Like I could see the letters, but I just couldn't focus on them. And I'm getting PTSD just starting to tell this story now, actually. So anyway, I was trying to focus on these letters and I'm like, what is going on? I can't understand this. Because people often say it's like, oh, the letters are in the wrong order. It wasn't like that for me. It was just like I couldn't focus on them. It wasn't my vision was blurry. I was just looking and I could see it, but then I couldn't look at the next bit. It was like I was looking at it in chunks almost, like there was a piece here and there was a piece here, but when I was trying to get through it, I couldn't. That's a terrible way of describing it. But like a lot of this stuff, you can't describe it because there's nothing else like it. But it was like, my vision was almost segmented, I guess. Or maybe maybe a way to say it is my brain wouldn't process the information I was looking at. I couldn't understand what I was seeing. And so I was really trying to force it, and my brain was hurting a lot, I thought, from trying to force it to understand it. And I think there is something to that, to be honest. When you really try hard to concentrate on something while that's happening, I think it does make your brain hurt more. But anyway, I was really trying, and I thought, I can't let these guys know how bad I am here because I don't want to lose this opportunity. I've worked so hard to get into this position to finally make enough money. I don't want them to know and say, oh, we can't work with you. Now, in hindsight, that was very stupid because they were paying me for my day anyway. So if I didn't work that day, they just wouldn't have paid me. It wouldn't have been an issue to them at all. But you know what it's like when you're desperate and you sort of overreact to things, don't you? You think things are a bigger issue than they are. So anyway, at this point, I thought that the whole issue, and do you know what? I was probably right to some degree, but I thought that the whole issue was that my neck was forward and therefore it was trapping the nerve. And so all I needed to do was straighten the neck out, because you hear all these things, don't you, on YouTube? Forward head posture. You know, like these guys, the one exercise you need to do to fix forward head posture, and they get you doing all this rubbish. So anyway, I thought it was that. So I went and I sat in the bathroom. I sat on the toilet, yeah. And this toilet, it was like, they had their filing cabinet in there, but then they just had a toilet here as well. So everyone was using a toilet with all the files and stuff. And I just sat there and I didn't know how long I was there, but I was like trying to straighten my back and my neck, and I was trying to do all this, like trying to loosen it off. And trying to like stretch it and all this stuff while I was having a hemiplegic migraine. And now if you've ever tried that, you'll know where this story is about to go. But anyway, I was in there, I don't know how long, but it was obviously a long time. And it got worse and worse and worse. And now I had the light off in there because obviously your eyes get really sensitive, don't they? So I had the light off, but then I started to realize I had the, I don't know what it's called, but when you get that thing, it's like a, it's a bit like, do you remember on the TV years ago with the static? It's a little bit like that, only like a small bit of it that might stay in one bit of your vision or something, you know? It's a little bit like that. It's not really like that at all, is it? But I don't know how to describe it. Sort of like a, it's moving, it moves. It moves. Maybe even a bit like, do you remember they used to have, I don't know if you're in the UK or what, but on the top right of the TV programs in the UK, when it was about to go off, they used to have this black and white thing that moved along. A bit like, not the barber thing, because that's an angle, but it used to just be like black and white, and it would just sort of move along like that to say the program, you know, it's about to go to adverts or something. And it's a bit like that, but not really. I don't know how to describe it. I'm very grateful that I can't describe it well because it's been a year since I've had it, which is amazing. But anyway, I had that starting up and then I realized, I'm like, okay, this ain't getting any better. I've got to go home. This is getting worse. So I'm having that starting up and I'm sitting there. And at this point now, I've got my left hand has gone numb. My face has gone numb. My tongue has gone numb. And my gums have gone numb. And my lips have gone numb. That's something I don't hear a lot of people talk about. I don't know if that's something that you experience. If you get hemiplegic migraines, let me know. Do you get that? Do you get it in your gums as well? I used to get that. I remember when I woke up in the night of a hemiplegic migraine before and my gums were numb. I was dreaming that my teeth had all fallen out. And then I woke up and my gums were numb and then the vision and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, where was I? So I'm having all this stuff kick off. So the hand's gone numb, the face has gone numb, the gums, everything. And I've got the thingy in the vision, this moving thing that moves across your vision, and I can't see straight and all that. And so I'm like, okay, I've got to get home. Like, this is not safe. And I didn't really know these people that well either, so didn't really trust them because I'd only just met them a few weeks ago or whatever. And I come out of the bathroom and one of the guys who owns the company come over and he was like, "You okay?" And I was like, yeah. And he was like, "Been in there for absolutely ever." I sort of laughed. I said, "Oh no," I was trying to talk, but then this is where the speech thing happened. I was like, "Oh yeah, no, home." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, but in my mind, I knew what I was trying to say. Like I knew what I was trying to communicate. It wasn't like my mind had stopped working. I knew what I was trying to say, but then when I was saying the words, I knew they made zero sense. And it was like, I would go, and that's the weird thing because I could think of the word, but then when I tried to say it, I couldn't say it. And one of the things that used to happen a lot was I would say the beginning of one word and the end of another that you could switch out. So let's say like common and often. I might say like confident or something like that, you know? That's what would often happen. Now, on this occasion, when I was trying to explain to him, when I was saying, "Oh no, I'm home," it's like those connective words were missing. You know, "Are you okay?" "No, I'm unwell and so I have to go home." But the only word you need is going home, isn't it? You know? And I was just like, "No, I'm home," and pointing to the door. So I couldn't figure out how to say the words. And then he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, "Oh, it's because of the," and I was like trying to really recall the words and I just couldn't think of how to say them. And I was just in an ahhing, and like sort of laughing a lot as well, because I guess probably, if I'm honest, probably because I felt embarrassed. Like I now had him and two other people looking at me while I've got, my face is numb, you know, hands numb, and now I can't speak as well. It looks like I'm having a stroke, but I know I'm not because I've had this happen to me a few times. And so I'm sort of like a bit embarrassed by the whole thing, and I'm sort of awkwardly laughing so they don't know what the hell's going on with me. And I said to him, "Problem," and he was like, "Right, what is it though?" And I said, "Oh, it's Steph Nick." And I was trying to say stiff neck because my neck was really stiff, but I said Steph Nick because I jumbled the words up like you do when you get these migraines, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, all right, mate." I was like, I'm going home. And I got my jacket and I went out and I waited at the bus stop, and it was so bright on this day. It was like perfect sunshine. which, as you know, is the worst thing if you suffer from hemiplegic migraines. Even if you ain't having a migraine, if you suffer from them, the bright sun is horrible. Every day is horrible. That's why I used to wear sunglasses all the time. And I still do sometimes, to be honest, out of habit. But like today, I was out in the sun and I didn't have sunglasses on because the Lion diet fixed it for me. Anyway, so I went down the bus stop and I was waiting there, and the bus didn't turn up for what felt like an eternity. And I didn't have sunglasses on this day, actually. I remember I didn't have them because I remember what I'm about to tell you. So this is so long ago, I'm forgetting bits of it, but I remember this because when the bus did turn up, I got on and I sat down downstairs near the front of the bus. And I was sitting on the left side and there was a middle-aged woman sitting on the right side. And I remember I was sitting there and I was trying to not show that I was feeling like I was dying. Literally, like half of my body had stopped working properly. Well, I say that, my leg was fine, like my left leg was okay. It was just this like left hand and the face and all that. But I didn't want to show that because I know that, like even now, you'll probably notice if you look closely in some videos, the left side of my face still don't work properly. And when I had all that happen, obviously it was a lot more evident because it's all numb and now it really ain't moving properly. So anyway, there was a woman sitting there and she was just like staring at me the whole time. And now I still can't see. I've still got the aura thing. I've still got like all the issues with trying to make out the world around me. Luckily, I had a return ticket for the bus, so I just gave that to him. If I had to try and explain to him, you know, where I wanted to go and pay money and all that, it would have been an absolute mess. But I had a return ticket. So anyway, she was just like staring at me the whole time. And I was trying not to show how bad I was. And I thought, please do not ask what's wrong. Like, please do not say, are you okay? Because I'm not going to be able to explain it to you. I just need to get home. You're going to think I'm having a stroke or something. Like, please don't do this. So I sat there feeling like, please just stop. So that was stressful. It was stressful because what I was going through. But then, as I say, you don't really, when you're out in public, you don't want to show how vulnerable you are in that moment, do you? Like, you want to show the opposite. You want to show that you're not really vulnerable, you know? So anyway, we come along and we come into my hometown, and I remember we got just level with the old petrol station, and something happened, I don't know what, but the bus driver slammed the brakes on, like slammed them on so hard that there was a kid at the back of the bus sitting in the middle at the back. He had a football resting on his lap. That football shot across the bus, like literally shot from the back and hit the front. It literally hit the front. He braked so hard. And when he done that, I felt that pain in my neck just got so much worse. So much worse. Now, I already had a lot of pain in the neck and a really bad headache, but it got so much worse when he done that. And I was like, oh my God. And I thought, I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, I've never had that happen. Like, that was already a really bad hemiplegic migraine. Now I've just had this whiplash in my neck as well. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen here. So anyway, I got off the bus. It was only about like 5 minutes or so after that. I got off the bus, went back home, knocked on the door, and my parents ain't in, and I don't have a key. And I'm like, oh no. So this is obviously still brilliant sunshine. I don't have my sunglasses. And I've gone round the back, knocked on the back. I'm like, please say they're out the garden or something. And they weren't. They never used to go out, ever. But they just so happened to go out on this day. I'm like, what is the chances? So anyway, it's all kicking off. Everything's still numb. I'm starting to feel really, really bad at this point. And we got this room. It's like it used to be an outdoors toilet, which is interesting how everything's around bloody toilets. But it used to be an outdoor toilet. My dad converted it into a room with a washing machine and a tumble dryer. I can't remember the name of it now. I can't remember. But anyway, he converted it into one of them rooms when I was a little kid. And anyway, I went in there and I closed the door, but it was packed full of loads of junk. So it was really feeling like really locked in. And you know, when you've got the hemiplegic migraine happening, for some reason, having things, it's like I didn't used to like wearing shirts. I used to wear shirts that were way too big for me all the time, because just having things close on you, I think, because you're filled with anxiety when it's all kicking off, aren't you? Especially when it first starts, but even when it's going on, because your body knows there's something really wrong going on. And then when you've got some tight clothing, or when you're in a small space or something, it makes you freak out that little bit more. So I couldn't stay in there, but it was good because it was dark. I had the door shut and the light was off. And I was all right for a while, but I'm like, I can't do this. It started to build up really bad. And bear in mind, I've still got all the numbness and everything. Like the symptoms weren't going away at this point. If anything, I think they were getting worse. So I'm like, I've got to move around a bit. I've got to burn this energy up. And I'm thinking, if I move about, it might help these muscles loosen up a bit. So, and this was a big mistake. I went for a walk down the seafront, and I'm walking along because I used to be a seafront right at the back of where I used to live. I'm walking along down there, and I don't know how far, probably by the swimming pool. So it's like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something away. And I got there and I'm like, oh my God, this is making it so much worse because of this bright light. I'm like, I want to go back in. Is it conservatory? Whatever it's called, that little room, yeah, with a washing machine. I'm like, I need to get back there. So I've turned around, I've come back. And now my eyes are killing me, absolutely killing me. Because imagine while you're having a hemiplegic migraine, being out, really bright sun, and then the water. And then I don't know if this is something you've experienced as well, but you don't want to, when you're out like that, you try to act like you don't have it because you don't want people to notice, but they always do notice. And I don't know why they do, but they always do. Even when I had it probably about a year and a half ago or something. No, it was more than that, probably about 2 years ago, one time when I was walking along, when I used to live in the Peak District, and I was walking along and I had it. And I remember it was happening and I thought, I don't want anyone to know what's going on with me right now. And I'm walking by people and I'm noticing that they're watching me really closely, and I'm thinking, how do they know? But people always seem to know somehow. I don't know, maybe it was the face. Maybe they could see from the face, or maybe they could see from, because I didn't want to move my neck, so I would be like really, you know what I mean? I used to move like this. It's like that guy who I was told I had a Steph Nick. He used to say I was like Batman, because I'd get, and this ain't just when I had the migraines, this was like just regular day to day. He'd see me over the road, like coming into the office, and I'd be like checking the road, and instead of looking like that, I'd be like this, because I didn't move the neck, so I'd be like moving from the shoulders. So he used to say I was like Batman. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. Where was I going? So I was at the seafront. Anyway, so I've come back. That was really bad. The sunlight made it really bad. Now, when I come back this time, my parents was home, and I was like, oh, thank God. So anyway, now I'm thinking, right, the neck is bad because it's forward. I need to get it back, yeah? So I've laid on the floor in the front room, and I'm trying to force the neck back straight, and I'm like, and my mum's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fix it. I'm just gonna straighten out the back, because this is, you know, what I believed was that it was because of my posture, because I always knew I had terrible posture. I didn't know why I did. Now I do. It was the diet doing it. But yeah, knew I had really bad posture. So laying down, trying to stretch this out and all that, and I'm laying there for, I don't know, half hour, an hour or whatever, and now the room is spinning. The room is literally spinning around me. And I'm thinking, no, Dan, just stick with it, because you're going to straighten this out, your neck, and it'll all click and you'll be back to normal again. Because I thought that, you know, I've just got a trapped nerve right now. I've just got to free the nerve, and everything will be back to normal. But my God, was I wrong. So anyway, the room's spinning. I'm like, oh my God, it's getting worse and worse. And then I'm like, I'm going to be sick. So I've jumped up off the floor. This is, the hand's still numb, face is still numb. And now I did the numbness and stuff didn't used to last for that long for me, not hours. What would normally happen with these was it would go numb and then it would come back. What I tell you, the most common thing, the left one would go numb, or one of them, it don't really matter what order, but let's say the left one would go numb, and then the face, and then the feeling would come back, and the feeling would come back, and then the right one would go numb. I don't believe I ever had the right side of my face go numb, ever. It was always the left side, as far as I'm aware. But I did have the right hand go numb. But it felt different to this hand. When this hand went numb, it felt more swollen, when the right hand did. Whereas the left one felt more heavy and stiff. That's what I can remember at the moment anyway. There's probably times when it felt different. There wasn't always that much consistency, to be fair. But anyway, so I'm jumping all over the place here because I'm getting a lot of things come to me. But so anyway, so I've gone and I'm throwing up, yeah. And then afterwards, my mum's like, Dan, you know, I've just put fresh bedding and all that on my bed upstairs. You want to lay down up there? She's like, I think it might be better for you, because my bedroom had a lot of junk in it, like a lot of old stuff that she wanted me to keep. So it was cluttered, very cluttered bedroom. And her room, she's like, it's better, it might help you a bit. So I've laid up there, and I'm laying there and I'm still trying to force the neck and all the rest of it. And the headache, I don't know why I've not mentioned this, but the headache was so painful. And I ain't mentioned the neck pain either. The back of the neck here, it was like a needle going in, you know, it was literally like a needle going in. And then the headache, it was like, I don't know how to word this. I think a lot of the times it was sort of behind the eyes was a big part of it. But then it moved around a lot anyway. It wasn't always like that. It moved, because I remember another time, I've actually got a video from a couple of days after. No, the day after that, I've got a video. But it wasn't to do with that. It was a work-related thing. But I remember it because I had a blindfold here. So I tried that, but that didn't really work for me, blindfolds. But anyway, I was laying there, and then she come up, she said, you know, do you want anything to eat? And I'm like, nah, definitely not. And she's like, oh, it's just because you ain't eaten anything for quite a while. This had gone on for hours at this point. And she said, is there anything at all you want? I'll go to the shop and get it for you, because that's what my mum's like, you know, she's one of them people who really want to try and help. And I said, nah, I said, there's nothing. So anyway, she went over the shop anyway, just for herself or something. And she come back, she said, I bought these Tic Tacs. I thought you might want one because, you know, well, you've been being sick. I said, thank you, put them there. And anyway, ages after, I thought, I'll give it a go. So I ate a Tic Tac, and then I went and threw up again. I don't know why, but it was like putting anything in my body at that time. Now, I didn't used to throw up that often from these hemiplegic migraines. It was only a couple of times I can remember doing it. Most of the time I didn't throw up, but that day I did. And I think what happened was I made it so much worse from trying to straighten it out and all that. And that was a big thing I learned, was that when it's bad, my neck, I'm a lot better off putting 2 pillows to have my head more forward so it's supported, instead of having 1 pillow or no pillow and having it right back here, because it's putting more pressure on all of this. Because there's no doubt that, at least for me, the neck was playing a big part in this. Now, I always knew that because I could feel it, and there was times where something would happen and I'd look up like that and I'd feel it pinch in the back here. Something would sort of pinch in the back. And when that happened, it would often set off hemiplegic migraines. But anyway, I've told the story. I think I'm just rambling a bit now, to be honest. I don't want to bore you all. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully it didn't resonate too much, actually, because I hope you ain't going through that. But if you are, then definitely try out the lion diet, because that's what worked for me. And I'll see you in the next video.